Because I'm applying a force this way, the shaft should start to lay down. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I'm going to show you one of my favourite drills for anybody that gets their arms caught too far behind the body. Even in the backswing, if you take your arms too far across and behind the rib cage, they can often get stuck, causing players to hit the ball too far out to the right or flip their hands and hit aggressive hooks. So let's get into it. So I'm indoors today, so I'm going to use the swing plate, which is going to help me put an alignment stick in the ground. And if you was outside, you wouldn't need one of these. Just simply grab an alignment stick and pop it in the earth. But for me, if anyone works indoors or on driving ranges, this is a great training aid to just help you put the stick in the ground. And it can change to all different angles as well. But today, I'm going to have it put straight upright. And this drill, again, is designed for players that get their trail arm mainly caught behind the rib cage. And what I mean by that is if I took the seam of my jumper or t-shirt here, I wouldn't normally want to see the elbow work too far behind the seam, because it's very likely that in the downswing, as I start to open and turn my body, that my arm is going to get trapped behind that, and then I'm going to get caught out, throw my arm away from my body and either produce big blocks out to the right, or I'm going to wrap my hands over and hit some aggressive hooks. So this is probably one of the most dangerous drills out there. So what I'm actually going to do is grab a head cover and just pop a head cover on top of the stick, just so I don't stab myself in the arm. But I would have that set up pretty much like that. I would then address this stick where it's a little bit more on my hip, right on my kind of back heel and hip, and then I would go over into posture. I now have to work out how I can make a backswing and not hit the stick that's standing up. So if I pull my arms too far across me, you can see my elbow is going to hit that by the time I start working into the backswing. So I've got to figure out how I can make a full turn, but keep my arms more in front of me. So for me there, I had to feel like my arms were pushed more to the left of my body. I can now see that my right elbow is more in line with the right side of my rib, or the left side of my rib cage. And then from there, feeling like I continually work the club over. Now, when we've performed this drill with players before, their first reaction is to pick the club up and then throw their arms out in front. What I want you to understand is that's not necessarily how this drill works. Yes, going to the top, you might need to feel like your arms are a bit more that way as you start to rotate in the backswing, but certainly it doesn't have to be a steep downswing. If I work to the top and I now push my elbow in front of that stick and head cover, because I'm applying a force this way, the shaft should start to lay down. So as I work to the top of my swing, avoiding that head cover, I then want to feel like my arms work back in front of my ribs, because I've applied the force on the handle more in that direction. The shaft now lays down and I can freely pivot through the shot. If I was to get this wrong, you would likely see A, I hit it early, or I do a good job in the backswing and then I work down too steep or too far behind me and I get caught on that head cover. So again, it's a really good way of feeling like the arms are getting back in front of the body, elbow in front, and then I can pivot freely through there rather than the arms get stuck and swing to the right. So let's hit a few shots and see how I get on with this. So again, just setting that nicely up my right heel, up my right hip. Going to grab a few feels here where I mean, it definitely feels like the arms are pushing in front of me. Big, strong pivot, and then definitely feeling that arm working in front. Can feel the shaft lay down too. See how I get on. I'm just going to start with some small shots. I definitely didn't feel stuck. I would definitely say it felt too far out in front of me, but definitely not stuck in that particular swing, which is a good feel because, again, we don't want to get trapped behind us. So again. Nice and slow to start. Little thin, but that felt pretty good, to be honest. Now, I feel like that's quite a deliberate drill. I feel like my arms are miles out in front of me, big strong pivot, and then I'm pushing my arm back in front of my stomach and then turning through. But I tell you what I really felt. I felt like I had loads of space out the other side. I felt like through the ball from here, I felt like there was loads of space. I felt my trowel side was quite quiet, which really slows down the release. And for me that hits a hook is probably not a bad feeling. But again, as I got my elbows back down in front of my body, the pivot felt so easy and I felt like I had loads of space. So I hope that helps some of you, and I'll see you soon. So I hope you found that drill really useful. For me, it was quite a useful one. I have actually used that drill in the past. So it's a really good one for anyone that gets their arms too stuck behind them coming into the downswing and really throwing it away. When them arms get back in front of the body, it's so much easier to turn the corner and work the hands more left, giving you a more passive face. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.